Every single day, somewhere in the middle of the ocean, a kitchen the size of a Manhattan apartment block turns $55,000 worth of raw groceries into 17,000 meals, and it does it again tomorrow, and the day after that, without stopping, without closing, for months at a time. The number alone is staggering. But the machine built to do it, buried 7 decks below the flight deck of an American aircraft carrier, is something most people have never heard described in full. An aircraft carrier is one of the most complex machines ever built by human beings. The USS Gerald R. Ford cost $13.3 billion to construct. It stretches over 1,000 feet long and displaces 100,000 tons of steel through the water. Its nuclear reactors generate enough electricity to power a small city. Pilots launch off its deck at over 150 miles per hour using an electromagnetic catapult system that did not exist a generation ago. Every piece of this ship gets analyzed, documented, and debated. The radar, the weapons, the jets. What almost nobody talks about, what gets barely a footnote in most coverage, is what happens below all of that, every hour of every day, in the galleys where a small army of sailors keeps 5,000 people alive, operational, and mission ready. Because here is the thing, a carrier that cannot feed its crew cannot fight. And feeding 5,000 people in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean is not a catering problem. It is a logistics operation of almost incomprehensible scale, and it has been quietly evolving for decades. The scale that defies belief. Put this number in context first. 17,000 meals a day. That is not the output of a restaurant. That is not even the output of a hospital cafeteria. 17,000 meals a day is the equivalent of running a full-service restaurant that serves roughly 500 customers at breakfast, 500 at lunch, and 500 at dinner, and then doing that 33 times over, simultaneously, inside a steel hull that is pitching and rolling through open ocean. The largest Nimitz-class carriers carry up to 5,680 personnel. The Navy's daily caloric standard requires 2,850 calories for male sailors and 2,100 calories for female sailors. Miss those numbers consistently, and pilots lose reaction time. Engineers lose focus. The entire combat effectiveness of a $13 billion warship degrades because the people operating it did not get enough to eat. On the USS Harry S. Truman, one of the Navy's 10 active Nimitz-class carriers, 7 separate galleys operate simultaneously around the clock. Staffed by 114 culinary specialists working in rotating shifts. Every day, those cooks produce over 17,300 meals while the ship conducts combat operations. The food alone costs between $45,000 and $65,000 per day in groceries. That is roughly $20 million a year per ship just in raw ingredients before you count a single dollar of equipment, staffing, or infrastructure. And that daily grocery bill buys quantities that stretch the imagination. What $55,000 buys at sea. On a single operational day aboard a Nimitz-class carrier, the galley burns through over 1,500 pounds of chicken, 350 pounds of lettuce, 20,000 cups of coffee, brewed fresh, around the clock, because the ship never sleeps, and neither does the crew. 160 gallons of milk. The bread is baked fresh on board, mixed in a dough mixer that handles 60 pounds at a time. The soup pots hold nearly 80 gallons each. The deep fryers are described by people who have seen them as jacuzzi-sized. None of this arrives in neat daily packages. A supply ship, called a combat stores ship, pulls alongside the carrier at sea every 7 to 10 days and transfers between 400,000 and 1 million pounds of food in a single delivery. That transfer happens while both ships are moving through open ocean, connected by cables and rigs spanning the water between them. The Navy calls this process underway replenishment. Every delivery has to be broken down, categorized, logged, and stored across multiple refrigerated compartments before a single meal can begin. The logistics of just receiving the food are a full-time operation. But what gets almost no attention is how the Navy decided that this entire system, the one that had barely changed in 40 years, needed to be rebuilt from scratch. And the new version is unlike anything that came before it. If you find this kind of operational detail as gripping as it is, taking 2 seconds to hit like helps other people find content like this. And subscribing means you will not miss what comes next. The Ford-class revolution. When the USS Gerald R. Ford commissioned in 2017, it did not just bring a new reactor and a new launch system. It brought a fundamentally different approach to feeding a crew, one that cut the galley footprint from 5 separate kitchens down to 2, while feeding the same number of people with 90 fewer sailors. This is the conglomerate galley system, and it represents a clean break from how the Navy had operated for generations. On a Nimitz-class carrier, 5 separate galleys are spread across the ship, each serving a different population, enlisted sailors, chief petty officers, and officers all eating from different kitchens, managed by different teams. The Ford consolidated everything into 2 large centralized galleys, positioned along the ship's center line. Directly beneath each galley, pallet-capable elevators connect the kitchen floors to the frozen, chilled, and dry storerooms below. Food moves vertically from storage to prep to serving line without requiring the 100-man working parties that Nimitz-class ships rely on. The Ford's cargo division operates with roughly 30 sailors for this function, compared to more than 80 on a Nimitz. The equipment inside these galleys is no less striking. The Ford uses rational combination ovens, industrial cooking systems that operate like an instant pot pressure cooker scaled up by a factor of 1,000. Each oven contains a product recognition menu. A cook selects the food item from a touchscreen display. The oven identifies the product, applies the correct combination of heat and steam, and cooks it to specification automatically. When the cooking cycle ends, the oven initiates a self-cleaning sequence, spraying soapy water through its interior, rinsing itself completely, and shutting down without a single sailor needing to scrub a rack or scrape a surface. The ovens are connected to the ship's Wi-Fi network, allowing supervisors to monitor cooking status across the entire galley remotely. The storeroom design also means the Ford maintained fresh salad on the mess deck through day 28 of a deployment, a benchmark that the ship's commanding officer described as something that simply did not happen on previous carriers. What this system actually costs and why it matters. The Navy's total subsistence in kind budget for fiscal year 2025, the official line item covering food for deployed sailors fleet-wide, came in at $575 million. That covers every ship in the fleet, not just carriers. Individual carriers account for a significant portion of that number. The math from the Naval Institute's own analysis estimates that a single carrier's food operation generates roughly $25 million in annual food service activity when fully deployed. Multiply that across 11 active carriers and you begin to understand why the Ford-class redesign was not just about efficiency, it was about controlling a cost that compounds year over year across a 50-year service life. The Congressional Budget Office estimated that crew-related savings on Ford-class ships would total approximately $4 billion per hull over that lifespan. The Galley redesign, with its 90 fewer sailors, is part of that calculation. Every headcount reduction is a salary, a training cost, and a bunk that does not have to be built into the ship's architecture. The food system is not separate from the warfighting system. It is load-bearing. A Nimitz-class carrier that cannot maintain morale through food service is a carrier that starts losing experienced personnel at the end of their enlistment contracts. The Navy understood this, which is why it committed to rebuilding the Galley from the hull up when it designed the Ford. As of December 2025, the Navy is still refining the system, testing freeze-dried ingredients at a research facility in Natick, Massachusetts, trying to extend how long carriers can remain at sea between resupply runs without the crew's nutrition or morale declining. Closing. The gun that fires the shell gets the credit. The jet that launches off the deck gets the documentary. But below all of it, a culinary specialist who may have never boiled water before joining the Navy is standing over an 80-gallon pot at 4 in the morning, making sure the pilot who flies the mission ate enough to think clearly when it counts. The Navy's own research shows that morale tracks directly with food quality. Entire re-enlistment decisions get made during deployments, and what a sailor ate that month is part of that decision. $575 million in annual food budget, 17,000 meals a day, 90 fewer sailors to run it on the newest ships. The question worth sitting with is this: when you look at what it actually takes to keep a warship operational, where do you think the real edge comes from? The weapon or the person fed well enough to use it? Drop your answer in the comments. And if this kind of operational detail is what you come here for, subscribing takes one tap and it means you will not miss the next one.